how to declutter, the basics. Hello, my name's Rachel. I do videos all about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and today we're going to talk about how to declutter. The absolute basics for getting started with decluttering, how to be successful with it, and the tips and tricks that you need to make sure that you are going to actively declutter your home. So today I've got 5 tips to help you to declutter. So what is decluttering? Decluttering is the process of removing things from your home so that they are no longer there and they are no longer cluttering up your space. So the amount that you reduce is all dependent on you. Nobody is forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. We're not forcing you here by any means to declutter everything from your home. That's not what I'm about. It's all about decluttering the things that are not working for you, that are not serving your purpose, so that you have a home that is left with all the things that you love and all the things that you use and enjoy. So here are 5 of the basic tips to declutter your home. My first step is you need to decide your approach to decluttering. Are you going to be a little acts of decluttering follower, or are you going to be a room by room approach where you are decluttering in a fast pace so that you can get through your home really quickly? This is what you need to decide. Are you doing it slowly over time, or are you going to bash it out so that you are completely done within a short space of time? That's what you first need to decide, because each approach is very different. If you're doing the little acts of decluttering approach, then every day you need to think about one little area that you can do in your home. I also create the little acts of decluttering PDF calendar that you can download from our website, declutteryourlife.co.uk, and on there it tells you one thing to get rid of every single day of the month so that you can follow along and you can declutter along with me. And this is a nice straightforward way of doing lots of different areas around your home without having to do too much or find too much time. Each thing should only take about 5-10 minutes unless it's a 15-minute timer one, but they generally don't take much time each day, but at least you can feel like you are ticking things off at your own pace. The other approach is room by room, so that you are completely getting through a whole room at a time. This means you need to really time block big chunks of time, like a Saturday afternoon or a whole weekend, so that you can completely transform a room. So that's going to have a very different approach. You need bigger chunks of time to be able to do that. Entirely dependent on how much time you are able to dedicate to decluttering and how you want it to feel as the process goes through. It may be that you have days where you swap to room by room and you do a bigger chunk, or it may be that you start off with room by room, you find it too much, and then you switch to little acts every day. The idea though is the little acts will create that daily habit of regular decluttering, so that you are constantly mindful of your purchases in future, so that you're not bringing things into your home that are going to clutter up the space again. So be careful if you're doing the room by room approach, because you need to really think about your mindset with it, and it may be that you have to redo a room to really get it down to the level that you want. Tip number 2 is you need to have 4 containers to help you declutter. 1 for donating, so anything that you want to give to a charity or to friends and family. Your second box is for items that you think are worth selling. Obviously furniture is not going to fit in a box, however you get the point. Any items of clothing or knickknacks or appliances that you can fit in the box, those are ones that you're going to sell. The third one is a pile of stuff that you're going to keep, because that's going to be organised back into your space. And 4, either a bin bag or a bag that you can use for any trash or recycling. So anything that you absolutely know is broken or damaged or no good, or items that need recycling at the recycle centre. So those are the 4 different containers that you need, and they are really important, because if you stop decluttering at any point in time and you've already put items within the containers, you know you can pause then and know it's not a mess. If you were to just create piles on the floor without them being in a box, it's too easy then to leave them there, and then they don't get dealt with, or they can get damaged or broken or not kind of processed properly. If you put them in the boxes, it's much easier to tidy away at the end of the decluttering process. You've already got then your box filled with the stuff. You don't have to then put it into a box from a pile on the floor. You've already put it straight in there. Same with rubbish. I would always say have a bin bag, because you can put it straight in the rubbish bin and the bag can go straight in the bin outside. Then you don't have to deal with it again. It's done, it's dealt with. So putting them straight into containers as you declutter is really important for the finishing of a space, because then it's much easier to manage. My third tip is to play the yes or no game, and it's kind of a bit like a quick decision, quick fire round, where you need to make the decision about an item quickly. Is it a yes, you want to keep it and you know that it's valuable to you and it's going to serve a purpose, or is it an instant no, don't need it anymore, this can leave my home? If you get to an item and you're taking too long, you're hesitating, I would say that is an immediate yes, you're keeping. Because if you can't make that decision, you are not ready to commit to saying no. So keep that one. It could be that when you do round 2, you come back again. That is when you have a quicker decision on that item, and it might be easier to judge then, because you've had that period of time in between decluttering it previously to then thinking about decluttering it again. So it will help you to come back to that decision later. So yeah, anything that's a maybe is immediate yes. So if you hesitate, keep it, deal with that later. This means that you're going to have a quicker decluttering process, because you are ready to say yes or no to items and you're not hesitating. Tip number 4 is don't be afraid to go back round and declutter that area again. Go in for round 2. Don't be afraid to do that. I found that the first time I decluttered, I was really kind of like, oh yeah, I might need this, I'll keep it, I'll keep it, I'll keep it. And then you end up feeling like you've got more stuff than you should have kept, and you weren't quite honest with yourself about those decisions. So going around for a second round in an area, really beneficial, because actually you're probably thinking, well, it's been a month since I looked at this item, actually I didn't really need to keep it. I can then make more careful decisions about an item because I've considered it a little bit more in that waiting time since I last looked at it. So going around for round 2 is going to help you to get rid of some of those maybe items. So that's really important, and you might be a bit more realistic about what you do need to keep and what you don't. And finally, tip number 5 is to put things back in an organised way. You need to think about how you use the item, make sure it has a home that makes sense. It's a home that is in the area that you use it and is easy to get to for the amount of time that you use it. If it's something that you go to on a regular basis, then it needs to be near the front, easier to grab. If it's something you don't use as often, it can be nearer the back, so that you are more likely to be able to put things back in its place when you have finished using it, because you know exactly where it goes and it has a home that works for you. You don't want to have something living in a place that is in another room to where you use it, because then that's more of a job to put it away. So think logically about where you're storing your items, and also create an intentional space. Think carefully about where you're putting items. Does it make the room feel cluttered, or does it make it feel calm? Does it need to be on display or in a cupboard or in a drawer? Decide how you want that space to feel and look. So that is how to declutter the basics. 5 different tips to help support making those decisions and making sure that you're successful with decluttering. Let me know in the comments down below if you found this helpful, and if you have started decluttering too. I'd love to know how you're getting on. What are your trouble spots? What are you finding difficult? What are you finding easier? I'd love to know how you're getting on. And I will be back for more videos on decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year. Take care, bye.